Hello, everybody. It's great to be with you again. My name is John Kranz with Compass Games, and tonight is episode number 46 to close out the year. It's December 17th, 2020. We're trying to make it through this year in one piece. I hope you can say the same as much as well. It's been a very unique year for everybody, I'm sure. And I look forward to covering year in review tonight. We'll also talk about what's coming in 2021, what to look ahead to. And we're going to sneak in one game preview, a little sneak peek of a game that's presently being finished and getting closer to the printer. So I thought we'd mix in one project update for a few minutes while we've got a whole lot of other business to cover. And as always, I'd like to just share my screen just for a moment to show what we have going on right now. So as you can see, we have our website. I'm not going to zoom in this time, though, because we're going to be covering it in a little bit different style this evening since we're doing a year in review and talking about 2021. But I do want to point out a few things, three things in particular. Top banner is our holiday catalog, and that's running through January 31st. So it's not just through December. It actually extends into end of January 2021. So that, again, all in-stock items are 35% off. Then we have our pre-order prices, and I believe there's also, it's if you spend at least 160 or 180, there's an additional savings. It's on the catalog itself. It mentions it as well. So definitely check out our catalog. You can download it by just clicking on this banner. You'll see a PDF you can go to. Definitely recommend it. And catalog also features what our expected release dates are for 2021 as well for all our games that are on pre-order. The other two things I want to mention, as always, is we have our newsletter sign up on the left side. That bright orange yellow box is all you have to do is put your email address in there for us, submit it, and we'll hit your inbox maybe once a week. We're not going to overrun you at all. And then thanks to everybody who reaches out to Compass via the Talk to Us, where you see my little waving hand at the bottom right. That's where you can also send us some general feedback, suggestions, ideas. If you're actually needing direct customer service from Compass, like an order status or pre-order shipment status, you can just email sales@compassgames.com. That will go straight to the office folks in the warehouse and will cut me out as the middleman, which I'm sure you'd probably like to do anyway. So so there you have it. So that's our update. We're going to talk about schedules and everything tonight, obviously. First, let's go ahead and switch gears here for a second. So I want to talk about the newsletter that just went out today. So if you sign up to the newsletter, as you can see here, this is what we basically send out once a week, and we're spotlighting tonight's broadcast, which is our wrapping up the year 2020 for Compass Games. So thanks for joining us here tonight. We really appreciate it. And then the rest is really a reminder. So we've got the Kickstarter for Armageddon, which I'll show here in a moment. That's our current Kickstarter program. As a reminder for those that pre-ordered the game already, there's nothing you have to do. You've already pre-ordered. Kickstarter is just another way for us to get the word out, to let people know about the game if they haven't been to our website or haven't heard of the games before. So that's just another way we can reach out to others. So just wanted to make that clear to everybody. Also, we've got Conquistadors, our last shipping game earlier this month in December. A lot of people have received it. Looking forward to some play reports. We haven't seen too many play reports yet, but maybe with the holidays that's going to change. And of course, the game's still available at pre-order price. Stellar Horizons, again, a great gift idea. It's back in print, so that's the one most people have asked about as far as are you going to have it ready in time before the winter break. So yes, we got it out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. A lot of people have received it already. So again, just a great idea. If you want to order it and have it shipped out right away, we can try to get it to somebody hopefully before, say, the 25th, even if that's the date you're looking at as well. And then we have upcoming titles. I'm going to cover more here in a moment, so we're going to skip by that for a second. Again, I talked about the catalog already. We're on our Discord channel. We've doubled our membership, so we're over 220 members now. And I'll be doing the after party. We'll do an after show party on the Discord channel. So for those that have access to it, you can just head over to our Discord channel. We'll go into the Applebee's Lounge tonight, and we'll just sort of get together as a group, do some video chat, have some fun, and talk maybe about everybody's holiday plans coming up for end of this year. Also, we've got our mobile app. So if you actually go to our website or look at our newsletter, you can just take your phone to that QR code, and that will jump you to our special page with all our links, including to our Discord channel. In case you don't know how to reach Discord, you can find it that way as well. So we definitely recommend use Linktree. It's got a lot of handy links on it to help out. We've also got our recording, which is what we did our last town hall meeting, number 12, with Bill Thomas last week on the 10th, and that you can watch that full episode now on our YouTube channel. So that's a lot we covered there. I actually want to backtrack just one tab here. So I don't want to forget Steve Carey. I shout out to Steve Carey, who was out in California. He was mentioning to me that he was really impressed with this 1862 Brothers at War game, not about the game itself so much, but about the tutorial video that was created by Christopher Moeller, the designer of the game. You might be familiar with Christopher, by the way, because he's the designer of Napoleon's Eagles, which we released earlier this year. And we have his second title in that series coming out. It's on pre-order right now. It was part of our pre-order palooza that we did in earlier this winter. But Steve Carey just says, this is absolutely, bar none, one of the best tutorial introductory videos he's seen for a game. He felt like he was fully educated on exactly what to expect from the game, and it was just very well done. So the reason I want to also provide props and thank Stephen for that is also Christopher Moeller is going to be very excited as the designer. He spent considerable time putting this tutorial together. So just want to make sure you're aware of it. So if you navigate to our website, you can just type 1862 in the search bar at the top, and you'll see that 1862 Brothers at War will come up pretty quick just with those 4 numbers there. And we'll jump you to this page. And again, just scroll down to the bottom and definitely check out that video tutorial. It comes highly recommended by Steve Carey. And of course, I'd rather believe customers than anybody from Compass. It's just a more honest answer you'll get, I think. That's a more objective feedback, and that's what we love to hear from customers. So let me switch back to full mode here, and let's see what we got next to cover. So let's go here now to our Kickstarter. I wanted to mention our Kickstarter just briefly for a moment. There's 4 days remaining. It was 5 days just a few minutes ago. So we've got about 60 backers, which is great. Again, for funding, it's not something we do for funding for a game. If you're not familiar with Armageddon, it's a really fun beer and pretzel style game. Solitaire up to a bunch of players. I've seen it played personally at Consum World Expo, which is an event I host every year. They break it out late at night in the foyer area, and they're hooting and hollering, just screaming. It's just a lot of fun to play the game. There's a video here you can watch that was prepared by the designer Carrie Anderson. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, you can also check out the full rules booklet. Just click on the link, and you can also learn more about the game that way. So again, just want to share that with you quickly. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to segue, as promised, to a year in review for Compass Games for 2020. So I just want to basically walk through memory lane with you. I can't believe it's been such a crazy year. So try to compartmentalize just Compass Games with everything else going on. It can be a bit of a challenge, but I tried to focus on everything relating to Compass to try to put it in a nutshell for you all. So I thought we could try to do that next. So let's take a look at that. So let's go back to the screen here. Let's take a look back at 2020. Hopefully some of these titles will look familiar to you. Yes, I've pretty much put these in order from left to right and top to bottom in order of release. So France 44 was our very first release of 2020. Right after the new year. I don't believe, even for the first few releases, I don't think I knew anything about this pandemic thing yet brewing that was going to hit us, but definitely not early January when France 44 was released. That's that Mark Herman Designer Edition game. I do get questions about, yes, there is a Russia 44 game in the offing, and it's supposed to mate, and so you can join both games together. But to be honest, Mark Herman left his hard copy information for that game back east before as the pandemic hit. He's now West Coast bound, and he's obviously not traveling right now for precautionary reasons. So he explained to me, and I've checked in with him, that he just he's not traveling at all, and he can't get to his materials for Russia 44, which he would need to complete that design. So we're just going to focus on France 44, and just to let you know, there's a big C3I review coming out as well on France 44. We think it's going to bring a lot of attention to the game, which we think there's some nice enhancements that were made to the game. Judd Vance did the review, who's a very really likes the game a lot. He's played the game for many years, and he was helping develop the new edition of the game for us for Compass. So look for the C3I review in the next issue from Roger McGowan that will spotlight France 1944. Next, we have Ostkrieg. So Ostkrieg is based similar system to what was introduced with Pacific Tide from Gregory Smith. And of course, we've got a game on pre-order, which is Imperial Tide, which will be coming next year, first half of next year, which is covering World War I. So Ostkrieg takes Pacific Tide from water to land, so from sea to land, and it's obviously covering the Eastern Front. So that's one we recommend you definitely check out if you like the Pacific Tide system. America Bomber. So that's now we're getting into our foray of alternate history a little bit here. So it's we didn't win World War II. We didn't wrap it up. It went in favor of the Germans, at least in Europe. Probably we could say for the Japanese as well. So the concept of America Bomber, it's Germans that are bombing American towns. Gregory did do research. There is research available on what were the targets the Germans had in mind for the United States. So Greg talks about the history and the research that was put into the game as far as the targeted sites, etc. So it is an interesting look of what didn't happen. And one thing I should just take a moment and pause here for everybody. So if we take a look at everything we did for 2020, it's around 20 releases. There's a few reprints as well. I'm not going to talk about the reprints tonight, but there were about 20 games. And out of the 20 games, which was somewhat surprising, was the most games, which was World War II again, the count was only 5. So there were really only 5 items from 2020 that were World War II. We had 2 for World War I, and pretty much a split across the board, like 2 for Ancients, 2 for around Civil War, then a pre-Civil War gunpowder era. We had Ancients around too. So we really had a broad, I think that's really important. So looking at a portfolio approach, because not everybody loves Eastern Front or just World War II, right? You have other games you want to play. And also we try to do that with Paper Wars. We'll do all types of games, but Paper Wars is another venue for us to get more games out that might be on more unique, compelling topics that haven't really been done before. But out of the 20, and I think one was even a player's guide. So one of the 5. So one of those 5, I think, was a player's guide, and the other 4 were actual games for World War II. So it was a pretty broad mix, to be honest, for 2020. We'll see what happens for 2021. We're going to look at that here in a moment, but I just want to sort of cap off in a big overview fashion. Yeah, we had about 20 releases, and we would have had more, but we were listening to your feedback, and a lot of the feedback that did come in was about the counter thickness. We wanted thicker counters. So Bill spent a few months looking at that, and then he spent some more time once he found the supplier to get the print test runs done just right. And we did have complications where the backside of the counter sheets had too much weight on the press. So if you notice your counters on the back side, they might be indented slightly from the press, and that press was too strong. So Bill, looking out for the quality, looking out for all of us, it took longer to go through that. And that basically meant a lot of games we had on the schedule for, say, late October through end of the year were pushed into next year into 2021, because we want to get these counters out, these improved counters. So we actually had a very quiet last quarter for Q4 of this year, just to let you know. And I'll talk in a moment here. Steve's asking about which games of 2020 were most popular. That's something that Bill talked about in our town hall last week as well. I'll definitely cover that as well. We'll cover the top 3, what those games were. But again, getting back to America Bomber, then we had 2 issues of Paper Wars. Siam, again, it's not World War II, right? So we had Siam, Fall Siam as the topic for Paper Wars. And then we did have John Butterfield's Battle of the Bulge. And this was originally, a lot of people didn't know this, it actually did start as a board game. What happened was when it went to market, it actually got converted for the iPad. For Eric Lee Smith's Shenandoah Studios. So if you're familiar with what Shenandoah Studios did a few years back with first The Bulge, and then he did Mark Herman's game on North Africa, Ted Rassier's game, I think it was Moscow. They did several titles for the iPad. Did quite well, actually. But Bulge was the first one, and it actually did start as a tabletop board game design. It got converted to a digital version through Eric Lee Smith's involvement for Shenandoah Studios. So we've brought back the board game version, and that one we've just heard really great reviews on. It's a fantastic two-player game. Plays really quickly, but it's sort of like that whole Queen's Gambit. Takes me back to Queen's Gambit this year and the big brouhaha about that popular series and what it did for chess. And Battle of the Bulge sort of plays like that because you've got very few units, but those decisions you're making with the initiative and number of moves you can make, it's gut-wrenching, really, for both sides. So it's really just a wonderful. Also reminds me a bit of Pacific Tides the same way, where it has all that tension to the play. But Bulge definitely fits that to a T as well, just to let you know. And that's from John Butterfield. We have several other games in the series that are going to be coming as well. Next, we have Napoleon's Eagles. Again, I mentioned Christopher Moeller earlier. He did that very nice introductory video to 1862 Brothers at War that Steve Carey wanted me to mention tonight. And Napoleon's Eagles was released, as you can see here, pure card game, 2 different games in one. And we've got the same thing going for the pre-order coming up for next year. Folda Gap from Adam Starkweather. This was one of our, it was asked what are the most popular games of 2020. So on this first screen, there's actually 2 screens for 2020. On this first screen, I can pull out 2 for you. So Stellar Horizons was the most popular hit for Compass. And some people responded to Bill like, what, a sci-fi game was the most popular release for Compass? It kind of makes sense because if you think about the crowd over on Board Game Geek and science fiction games and how many units of science fiction games can truly move. You've got the Mars series games, for example. So there's a huge potential market actually for science fiction. If you really think about it, there's a ton of, I'm surprised there's not more science fiction games actually. There's a few that have been put out by other publishers, but not much at all really from say the Wargame Publishing Group, just a few. But Stellar Horizons, yeah, it sort of tapped into that market if you think about it, and it really speaks to that market. So that's why we sold out of the game rather quickly in a few months, and now it's back in reprint. As I mentioned, that was part of the newsletter review where we mentioned Stellar Horizons is back in print now. But Stellar Horizons was number 1, and then Folda Gap also came in, I believe, at number 2. So Folda Gap, nice monster game. Third World War series, or anything on the Third World War is such a hot topic right now. We've got multiple publishers doing games on again the outbreak of the Third World War, NATO Warsaw Pact. Tons of games. Thin Red Lines is another company that comes to mind. It's doing a great job. I want to say Fabio is his first name. I hope I got Fabrizio's name right. But again, he's done some great work with attention on that era, 80s era, etc. So yeah, Folda Gap just sort of scratched that itch for everybody. So that was a very, very popular game. And then we switch over to Dawn of Empire. So Dawn of Empire is sort of along the lines of War at Sea. If you think about War at Sea with a simple game system with a lot of dice, a lot of fun action, moves super quickly, great map, really easy to play, but fun to play. So that's where Dawn of Empire falls. And a lot of people talked about the production quality of Dawn of Empire. So that rounds out 9 of the games, 9 of the first games from 2020. So let me see just for a moment before I leave this page. I want to just see what comments we have here about the game. So let's see. Well, thanks, Mo, for the kind comments. Really appreciate it. Let's see here. There's a lot of World War III 1985 games out there. Yeah, not just at Compass. It's a very hot topic. Like I mentioned, there's several publishers, and some names are escaping me right now, but there's several publishers right now that are doing it and are doing a great job. So absolutely. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, Stellar Horizons deserves 2 slots, Michael. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Yeah, that's sort of that big oversized box. I think it came in at 16 pounds. Is what the weight of the box is, a little over 16 pounds. So it's quite large for sure. Let's see. Yeah, Stellar Horizons arrived, but I don't recall when. I think my better half whacked me on the head with it. So I'm surprised you've come to, John. I think you'd still be knocked out. If you got hit with that box, good luck to you. So that's a big one. Let's see. The next C3I very soon also has a Hunters expansion by Greg Smith. That's right. Thanks, Steve-O, for reminding me over on YouTube channel that, yeah, Greg did submit an expansion for the Hunters. And the Hunters is something I worked on with Greg oh gosh, 8 or 9 years ago, but it's now in its third print run, right? And it's great to see Roger McGowan's helping support that wonderful series of games. So we've got some nice topics in there. We've got the Hunters, and we've got France 1944. America Bomber, yeah, waiting for the sequel, Defending America, where you get to switch sides. Thanks, Dennis. That's coming. It's in the tank, as they say. It's been printed and all that fun stuff. So we should look forward to seeing Defending America in the first half of next year. Let's see. Thanks, Jim, for your pre-order. Much appreciated. Thanks, Joe, for the very kind words over on YouTube. Appreciate you joining us tonight and saying you like what you saw in 2020 from us. Hopefully it helped take some people's minds off what was going on in the real world as well. Let's see here. America Bomber would have woken up a sleeping Bigfoot. Okay, Michael. Hopefully that's a good thing. And yeah, John says, no, we didn't do a space game. I mean, we could always add a variant. We didn't take it to space, John, so we could combine it with Stellar Horizons maybe with a little bit of the America Bomber to it. We'll see. Tom's clipping Folda right now. So I didn't mention it's a company scale system, by the way. So this is company scale system. It's going to have some games that will, I believe it will actually mate with the game. I think the plan was for Adam that they could join as well. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, Jack, I like Eastern Front as well. So we'll see about that. Let's see. Be sure to stop in the CSS topic in Console World. Folda has a lot of errata. Okay, I'll definitely check in Shin Godzilla. Actually, Adam Starkweather. Hopefully he's in there. He's he's the designer, so he sort of owns the project. If you know what I mean, Shin. He's the one that's going to be responsive and be able to respond and act to your feedback because he's the designer. So hopefully we'll get some good feedback from you there. Yeah, sci-fi isn't the thing for a lot of people. Yeah, it's just one of those cross-market things, not for everybody, for sure. I'm definitely going to cover the other games that were most popular. We covered Stellar Horizons already and Folda Gap, which were two of them. Darren's been playing World War II Commander with his teen son. I think his son beat him in the first game, I believe. So we'll see. Maybe Darren can give us an update on that. I think Darren said he lost in the first game. So maybe Darren can give us an update on that. It's great to see Michael with Paper Wars. We got Ty Bomba involved now as editor with Paper Wars. So really happy about that. And Mo's got the results here from the town hall. So we've got Stellar Horizons already covered, Folda Gap, and I'm not going to show number 3 yet. You can probably see it if you're on YouTube right now. YouTube viewers can see what he put for number 3, but not those on Facebook. That's for sure. Thanks also for mentioning that. You don't see the mention if a discount for on the catalog itself. It was I believe it was in the order form area. There's a little order form where you can fill out information. I believe it was in there near the bottom in small print, but I do recall there is some type of a discount in the catalog itself because I saw it once. I answered a question through the Talk to Compass Games, that waving thing on the homepage, and somebody asked if there was any additional discounts, and I thought, no, I don't think there are. We're doing our big catalog winter catalog sale, so I don't see why we would have any other discounts. But then Bill Thomas corrected me and said, no, there was something in the catalog about additional savings. So we'll have to hunt that down there, but it definitely should be in there. Yeah, looking forward to the Market Garden following up to Bulge. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting more games out in the World War II Commander series as well, for sure about that. So we're looking forward to that. Okay, so let's. So we've talked about a lot of these items. So thanks for your comments and feedback, and yeah, critical feedback as well. So thanks for the critical feedback. If there was errata in Folda, we'll definitely check that out. I'm not too familiar with the amount of errata for that game, so we'll certainly find out what that's all about. So let's go to the rest of 2020 into I think what's probably getting into the second half of 2020. So let's see here. So here we go. So actually the first item that we have on this list was not a game, but it's still World War II, so I counted it. I hope that's fair. So we had the Russia Besieged Player's Guide. So I've heard some really great things. So Russia Besieged came out at the previous WBC. I think it was 2018, and I think that was the hot item. It was we had advanced copies. Actually, we could just literally came through the warehouse just in time to put on the truck to WBC in 2018, and that seemed to be a really hot topic at the time. So that did really well. And then Art Lupinacci, the designer, He's done just a spectacular job with the player's guide. If you don't have the player's guide, but you've got the game, uh, you sort of want to go. You want to go all in, guys. So I don't want to use a different analogy here because I'll get in trouble with Bill. But if you've got Russia Besieged, the deluxe, and it's the deluxe edition, don't forget, you want to finish. You want to, if you get my sense, you want to keep that train of thought, right? And you'd want to pick up the player's guide because it not only has a millions gazillion illustrations that explain play, gets into play strategy. It also has 2 small extra counter sheets as well for some advanced things you can do, some variants. So definitely worth checking out. So hope some of you online have Russia Besieged. If you have the player's guide, you could probably give a thumbs up or talk about with those online, about the contents of the player's guide. But it's something you'd want to get for sure if you've got the game already. So Decision at Castlevania is one of my personal favorite games. So as a gamer in the hobby since a young age, I fell in love with the 3W Wargamer magazine as it first came out of Castlevania. Just absolutely love that game. I think Vance may have done some other North Africa series games by then. I'm not sure. He had a few other battles he did. But something about Castlevania was just amazing to me. I loved the Desert Warfare in World War II and just loved the game. So I actually got a hold, if you haven't seen the boxed edition 3W did, beautiful boxed edition of the game as well. So we paid homage to the box edition, and again, a personal project for me here. So I was very happy to work with the Bundesarchiv and actually get the photo and license agreement to be able to get that photo from the Bundesarchiv for our front cover, so we could have it again, because I think it was just the perfect cover for the perfect game. So again, one of my favorite games from Vance, absolutely. So hope you've had a chance to check that out. And then again, see, there's that Ancients itch. So Hannibal. So we go to Ancients with Paper Wars. Hannibal, again, heard some great things about it. Again, getting away from World War II again, as you can see here, going back to Ancients. We expect to have some more Ancients games. We'll have a stronger Ancients showing actually in 2021, actually, by maybe an extra game or two based on our release roadmap for 2021. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, Hannibal was a great release for Paper Wars. Really excited about that. To round out our top 3 games for 2020, it's Brotherhood and Unity. So very unique topic. Again, the designer being living in the area himself, being so intimately tied to the history and the people of what the horrible events that transpired at the end of the past century, 20th century. Just amazing. The response to the game has been just fantastic. And sure, I'll be honest with you. I've received, I think, 1 or 2 hate emails about how could Compass, I think they were non-gamers, how could Compass do a game on a topic so fresh in history? But I think as I've explained before, I'm sort of old school about simulations, and it's about the history, and it's not about the pleasantness and the good, warm feeling, fuzzy feelings you might get if you were really thinking about what's transpiring on the tabletop. Yeah, usually, that gets compartmentalized, but also you're also learning about history, and hopefully those same atrocities and things won't happen ever again. So that's just my personal viewpoint about instead of reading a book, you can simulate these things and get a deeper appreciation through decision making and understanding the issues of the time, at least through the designer's eyes. So, but again, that was 1 or 2 people, and we get hate mail in every game we release. So that's nothing out of the ordinary for Brotherhood and Unity. But absolutely, just a stunning response to the game, just absolutely wonderful. We're very happy, by the way, that we have Brotherhood and Unity not just on Vassal, but it's also available on Tabletop Simulator. So if you want more of that modern 3D look, really gorgeous looking game engine to play it online, which Tabletop Simulator gets a lot of high marks from people. So we've got Brotherhood and Unity is one of the few games we do have already on Tabletop Simulator. So definitely want to check it out. So another game didn't make top 3, but it definitely made a lot of noise for us and actually moved our product roadmap forward in terms of quad games. And that was, we released Brief Border Wars, Brian Train's Brief Border Wars. He does always some very compelling topics, usually post-World War II era, typically for him. And boy, the quad game from you guys, the quad game surge just started with Brief Border War. So that's how this Eastern Front Operational Battles game came to being that we're going to be doing next year. Brief Border Wars 2 is coming next year. Brian's already working on it. 4 different games, 4 different topics. So this game's done extremely well. Mo's Gaming Table, Maurice has done a great job. I know other YouTube channels have also done coverage of this game, which we really appreciate all the coverage, all the different channels. I don't know if Ardwolf's Lair has done it already. I think Players Aid's done it. But again, just really fantastic comments on Brief Border Wars. So thanks for giving us the thumbs up on that. It's really wonderful. So a pretty strong series of games right there in that top line. Again, Brotherhood and Unity, Brief Border Wars, Hannibal for a magazine game. Just really strong, solid feedback from gamers, really being satisfied with what we came out with. And then we wrap up the bottom row for 2020. These are the last games. And we have Assault Artillery. I think personally for me, I don't know if you agree with me or not. If you think about Compass games and you might think about what games maybe just they just sort of do a flyby. I really wonder if and I'm not talking about from a sales perspective because I don't even know what the sales numbers here are, but in terms of seeing people talk about it online, I don't see much talked about the Red Poppy series, and we're up to volume 3 now, but each game looks fantastic. I've pulled out the maps and looked at the counters and more importantly, looked at the designer notes and the historical detail of the game map for these World War I battles and the system itself that it portrays these battles. It's probably the most interesting stuff of World War I I've seen. I know we've done a lot of World War games, especially strategic level, but at this scale, it just looks like a wonderful, approachable series. I don't know how others feel about it, but I feel like if there could be some love thrown at a game that deserves it, I want to say it's the Red Poppies campaigns. I would love to see more games. I'd like to see some designers step up that know about the history and order of battle of other World War I battles and could actually step in for the designer and do more games as well. So it's not just him doing them, because I think it's a great system to use for other World War battles. It would be fantastic. Then we get into another fairly heavy box, but cannot compete with Stellar Horizons, even with all the blocks, and that's Jacobite Rising. So Jacobite Rising is a standalone game on the Commands and Colors Revolution system. So again, you can play Jacobite Rising standalone. And again, we've seen people have said Richard Borg's adaptation for this era is really popular. So heard a lot of positive things about Jacobite Rising. It's also a very big package as well, for sure. And even though I mentioned top 3, I almost feel like these other games did so very well. And Conquistadors doesn't even have time. It doesn't have a runway to really register for 2020 if you think about it being a December release. But Dawn's Early Light, well, that did gangbusters for us. And that was one where, thankfully we did a Kickstarter, which I think helped a lot because it's a new designer. And we had the rules, so we had the rules available, etc. And we also had them on to talk about the game. So that did extremely well. Dawn's Early Light, a lot of people a few people at least scratching their head, wondering what the game would really be like. But when we brought out the Kickstarter with the rules booklet, you could download it and view. You can even go to Kickstarter right now, and it should be on our webpage, product page now as well. But it really was, I think, very insightful to have those rules there available to really learn about what the designer did here for Dawn's Early Light, and that game's done really well. Of course, we had our designer interview fairly recently in the past month on Attrition of Souls. So we had Scott Librant on, which was a very good interview. We had a lot of great questions and a lot of interesting comments by Scott were made about his approach to World War I and how he approached games, being more of a Euro designer. He focuses first, as he mentioned, on mechanics, and then he finds situations that best fit those mechanics of play, and really had a lot of positive feedback about our interview. So if you go back to the Compass YouTube channel, if you look under our Compass Games Live episodes, I think it was just, 1 or 2 episodes back, maybe in the last episode, actually. I think it was the last episode, actually, is when we talked with Scott, and that went really well. And then, it's so wonderful to have the Conquistadors having shipped this year. I was really wondering if we were going to make the cut to have Jonathan Southard's return to the hobbies. He's a great designer with Carrier and all these awesome Civil War games that he's done as well. He's done some great titles. It dates back a little bit to Victory Games time frame. He also did West End Games titles, Civil War. But boy, the Conquistadors, just a wonderful game. But again, the runway for Conquistadors and for Attrition of Souls as well, the runway's just not there anymore in 2020 to really rank this as. So when we say top 3 games for 2020, yeah, to be honest, I'm not worrying too much about bragging rights here, because really I think, there were so many winners here for us. So yeah, the 3 we mentioned already, for sure, Stellar Horizons, Brotherhood and Unity, Fold the Gap, the top 3. But you got to look at these other ones. We've got Brief Border Wars, Jacobite Rising for the block players. So for the block players, that's the number 1 game right there. If you're a block player, that's the one you're going to like the most. A lot of people really like Dawn's Early Light. That could have been sort of the surprise of the year, actually. Attrition of Souls, sort of that crossover Europe-itch type of a game, and we need more. Bill needs more World War I strategic games, so I'm sure we're just getting the party started there. And then the Conquistadors is just, to me, I would expect we're going to hear a lot in 2021 about the Conquistadors. I think that's where that game's going to have more time. People are going to be playing it now over the holidays. So I expect a lot of great things from that. So can anybody tell me which game is not in this list? So I've shown you all but one game that we released in 2020, and I left it off on purpose because I want to make this more interactive. I know we can't talk right now. We'll do that in the after party on our Discord channel in our Applebee's Lounge area. We'll talk. But for now, I'd like to know if any of you online, any of you care to take a guess at what game we released in 2020 that I have not shown tonight. Let's see how smart you guys are. I want to see if I tripped you up. Okay. All right. So it's ruined already because he's too busy covering the hobby. So yeah, Traders of the Air was a Eurogame release. I have a great reason why I didn't include it. I didn't have space. Look, guys, these two these 2 slides are full. It's 5 each, or Stellar Horizons took up the space I needed for Traders of the Air. So it was not something I meant to take away. Now, Montelamar, I believe, was 2018. If I'm wrong, Bill and I missed it. I think Montelamar was 2019, not 2020. So we'll find out. I'll post, Jack. There is a URL for the Discord channel. So if you'd like to join us for the after party, I will post the link for the after party. So just stay with us through the end, and you'll get the link so you can join us on Discord, where we do live video chat. And you don't have to be on video if you don't want. You can just do audio, and it'll be fine. So Combat was not a 2020 release. It was a reprint in 2020, but it actually came out in 2019. I thought Combat may have been released in 2020, but Bill told me no, actually it came out in 2019. So overall, I'd just like to get you guys' feedback right now. So if you talk in the chat on Facebook and YouTube Live right now, you've been talking amongst yourselves right now already. So I'm curious if you could share with me. I'm going to take a moment. If you could just share with me for a moment, what do you think of the year 2020 for Compass? A little over 20 titles. We had a pause, operational pause. I feel like we had Guderian's operational pause here because of the counter situation to get better counters to you guys for the Q4. But I'd like to get your feedback on what you thought of it. In the meantime, I'm going to look up that link right now for joining the Discord channel for Compass, because I know people are asking for it. I don't want you to have to worry about it. So I'm going to get that to you right now. And here you go. So I'm posting it right now. So you're going to see a link in chat on both YouTube and Facebook. And that I don't know if you can click on the link probably in chat. You probably have to copy and paste it onto your browser destination field. But if you go there, you can you'll get piped right into Discord. So give that a shot. So Tom bought Combat in 2020, and he's Thanks, Tom. So I don't know how many people might be relatively new to Compass Games, so I'd be curious. I think we have a lot of grognards here, a lot of experience with the hobby for sure. I think that's why you're here. I think, one thing about running Consum World, we have many thousands of people, but to be honest, that vocal minority that's like active online, you're sort of the ambassadors. And really, I consider you all evangelists. You're really evangelists of the hobby, because if you have a local gaming group or people are asking you questions online or on forums or Facebook or Board Game Geek or wherever you happen to be, you're sort of influencers because you're tied into the hobby, because you're spending time with publishers, you're following things on social media, and about 97-98% of the hobby isn't really doing that. Especially, and obviously for Compass Games, you're like our top 5% audience. So the stuff you take away from these sessions, it's really sort of that word of mouth, what you can tell others, that's really impactful for sure. Let's see here. Andrew joining us from Australia. Thanks, Andrew. He's got a great design coming out as well, Napoleon's Imperium next year. He thought 2020 was a surprisingly huge year for Compass considering the circumstances. So, yeah, I think we, and really, if you think about it, what was strange, we didn't, we got tripped up a little bit about the situation with the pandemic for manufacturing and shipments for sure, especially shipments going out overseas really got hit hard. But really, even that getting those counters with a new supplier, that one actually, that one hit us as well for Q4 for sure, Andrew. So thanks for the comments. Thanks, E4. So started buying in 2018. I hope you've been satisfied with your purchases, E4. You've been happy with the support. You like the titles you see coming. One thing I do want to mention about our games, we have a lot of games on the back burner or being worked on actively. We just don't ever talk about them. In some cases, it's the designer, and we leave them alone. The designer has his team, and they've been maybe working on some stuff for a few years. So it's not anything like designer says, I got an idea for a game, and we say, oh, we need it in 3 months so we can publish it in 6 months. So, we're not rushing through stuff at all, just to let you know. And, we try to make the right decisions to make sure the games come out as high as quality as possible. So thanks for the kind words about that. Let's see here. See, Tom mentioned something here. It's true, John. I've been in the hobby for a long time, but didn't catch on about Compass until this year. And it's been a great ride. The feedback I have in this connection to gamers is awesome. Thanks, Tom, so much. Funny story. Coming from the corporate world, lived my life in the corporate world. Went to, if any of you know Thunderbird, that was a really fun international management school, grad school I went to in Arizona, which is how I landed in Arizona. So I went through the corporate route pretty much my whole career. And then my last gig was just sort of a horrible nightmare of a gig. And I definitely had corporate burnout. I mean, I've had some bad moments in corporate history. Everybody has their war stories and skins their knees, but I just had a horrible experience I ran into. And I was so fried and burned out. And what happened was I did Consum World Expo, maybe 2016 or maybe it was 2017. And all of a sudden, Compass Games was releasing instead of 1 or 2 games a year or 2 games every 2 years, it was like they did 4 or 5 games in a year. I was like, what the hell's going on? You guys were doing 1 game, 2 games every year or two. And then you're doing 4 or 5 games a year. And that's when Bill Thomas explained to me, well, I told Ken Dingley, we've got the potential to do more here. If you come on full time and go away from your corporate job and join me, we'll get a lot more done. So that's how Compass got my attention, was where are these games starting to come from? Because they were, for 15 years, I think, they were doing maybe a game a year, or maybe was it 2 games a year? And then things sort of changed on a dime. And so I guess you could say I sort of came in just when that process was coming. And then Bill made his 5-minute business decision when I was researching about maybe taking Consum Press on the next level. He said, no, let's join forces, join us, and let's see if we can make it work. So rest is history, but it's been really, really something. Wonder how many will be signing those 600 stimulus checks to Compass in 2021. Well, I guess there's a lot of titles to choose from. So Vex, hopefully you'll spend some of that nice money for a really nice takeout dinner. I don't know if there's dine-in dinners going to be happening in most places at the time, but hopefully supporting your local businesses is so important right now. But however you want to spend your money, absolutely. Will combat and enemy action Ardennes ordered now have improved counters? So no, this is for new print runs. Great question, Grey Wolf over on YouTube. Thanks for joining us tonight. So great question, because we have stock of these games still. So we already went through the reprint of Combat. And in that case, I think we even had extra counter sheets lying around, so we didn't have to literally reprint them. And Enemy Action Ardennes was, well, let me take that back. Enemy Action Ardennes, let me be careful here. I have to double check with the office if it's based on stock of counter sheets we still have, that it's going to be available again, or if it's a purely done reprint where, yes, we absolutely have to reprint all the components, including the counters. So for Combat, I know the answer. I can go 50-50 with you on this one, Grey Wolf. I'll go 50-50 with you. For Combat, absolutely yes. It's using the original counters, so they're not thicker. For Enemy Action Ardennes, I honestly don't know the answer to that, but I could find out by tomorrow for you. And you can email me or shoot me that message to Ask Compass Games on the homepage, and I'll get you the answer tomorrow. Not a problem at all. Let's see here what other comments we have. Somebody's already spent their stimulus check for pre-orders and pay later. Well, okay, well, we haven't charged you yet, so that's the good news. So I'm happy about that we haven't necessarily charged you that. Let's see other comments. Now that's thinking like a war gamer. Always the positive modifiers. Yes. Yeah, we need to do an episode about what games did you play in 2020? And this could be from any publishers, really. But yeah, maybe specific to Compass would be good, just to hear what games did you play from Compass Games in 2020. So thank you, Martin, for the list of games. So there's Russia. I hope you have the player's handbook, Martin, for Russia Besieged. I think it's very important that you have that player's handbook. It will increase your enjoyment of the game. I will not steer you wrong. I would not steer you wrong about that. Brotherhood and Unity, awesome. Foul Blau is one I want to play because I love the Operation Typhoon system or game from SPI days, and Foul Blau is using the same system. Bitter Woods is a classic. That's a wonderful game. War for the Union by Rob Bama. Another Empire's Alliances, also by Rob Bama. Martin, are you overseas? I got to hang out with you. Are you like in Sweden or Norway still, or did you move stateside? Because I think I need to travel out to you and find out where you are. Good source for products in Canada. I think maybe Mo's Game Table. Maurice Fitzgerald can probably comment for that right now. I won't be able to comment live, but if not, I'll provide you some good sources for Canada. Absolutely. Thanks for saying the box covers. You like the box covers. We have our branding, so you'll always see the Compass swoosh at the bottom of that box with the logo, with the credits, etc., and then the name, and then the top we try to have at least one of the stripes, etc. So we always try to use that same whoosh branding to be consistent, and I'm glad you guys like it. We always look for good suggestions for box art. We're always looking to improve, so thanks for the kind comments about that. Yeah, you don't have to pay right away. You can just do the pay later, so everybody keep that in mind, pay later. Commands and Colors, American Revolution, awesome. E4, yeah, that block system. People said they loved what happened with the block system, what Richard Borg did to enhance the system, to model, not to enhance it in general, but how he's using it to model Revolution period. So that's very cool. Aaron's relatively new to Compass. Only game owned prior to 2020 was Gettysburg P. Ridge. So Gettysburg P. Ridge, I'm assuming that's Battle Hymn, perhaps. And yes, okay, it is Battle Hymn. Waiting for the next volume. So Aaron, I know you're on YouTube right now. If you get a chance to hop over to Facebook, if you are on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Eric Lee Smith is posting playtest progress reports from playtests for the next game in the series. So definitely want to check out. I think it's Bentonville. Actually, it's the scenario. It's Bentonville. So you might want to check that out if you can. Thanks for subscribing, Gordon. Great to see you, Gordon. Thanks for also attending Compass Expo events as well. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for being a subscriber to Paper Wars. Let's see. It looks like how you ordered, we fixed it for you. So great to see that. Awesome. Early summer playing Absolute Victory game. Really, really helped pass the lockdown time. That's awesome, Rick. So happy, Rick, over on Facebook to hear that helped you with lockdown. It was really interesting. I saw on eBay, there was a game that was mint condition flat tray, Global War from SPI. and I was almost thinking of buying it, but like I have a punch version. I love SPI. I'm a collector of SPI games basically because I was young then, right? So it's a walk down memory lane. That's a nostalgic reasons is why. But somebody told me that, well, if Global War had all those development issues, and there is a great there is a fan based rules version now for Global War from SPI that's very good. I've been following that on the Console World forum, so I was reading about it, deciding if I want to buy the game off eBay. But then somebody made the comment, well, Absolute Victory is really like Global War done right. So I thought about that. I go, you know what? Yeah, if it was between Global War and having to learn a whole new system and things didn't quite work out with Global War from SPI, it's, you'd have to it got retooled, if you know what I mean. It got retooled from the SPI release. It needed it. So that was a very insightful comment about Absolute Victory is sort of that Global War from SPI sort of done right. So I thought that's very cool. Let's see. Dennis says his old brain cannot recall when he started buying Compass, but it has been a few years. Dennis, if you send us a few $100s, we could look up the records and we could tell you exactly when you started buying. I'm just joking. Thanks for the support. Really, really appreciate it very much. Happy to share Jim with you guys. Absolutely. Thanks for the kind words. Still trying to earn my keep at Compass, as you can see. Other Hat is working on all the projects. So we're going to do a project sneak peek, if you will, and just here in a moment. So I'm looking forward to doing a sneak peek of a project with you all. Aaron Smith bought Attrition of Souls and Dawn's Early Light and loved both. Awesome. Yeah, we're getting good reviews. The mounted maps and everything has definitely been the way to go. For all our one mappers, we try to do is mounted games, right? So anything that's a one mapper, mounted components, deluxe counters, or uber deluxe counters with the rounded edges usually. So Aaron, thank you very much for the count words. Yeah, the Attrition of Souls are 1-inch counters, I believe. I don't know if Dawn's Early Light were 1-inch counters or not. I'd have to check. John's not getting a stimulus check. Better ask the wife. Yep, I got you on that one. Random events roll there for John Longshore. How did I land? How did I land my dream job? I could tell you it's doing what I'm doing right now, but I don't have time to tell you because we've got too much to cover to review 2020, and I don't want to bore you with my personal stuff. So maybe if you want to be bored in a future episode, we can do that. Ray says, yeah, Ray, thanks Ray for the pre-orders. Yeah, we've got a lot of games that aren't on pre-order yet. Believe it or not, there's a pretty amazing product pipeline right now. So it's pretty much nuts. Mo says Compass was like a garage kit company until a couple of years ago with just a few releases. Yeah, that's what I noticed. So Mo's experience is what I experienced as well. That sort of realization that what's happening all of a sudden. Why is Compass? How are they doing it? Thanks for the kind words, E4. I don't get a chance to read these comments in advance before I show them. So thank you so much for the nice comments. Let's see here. We got, you guys are just got so many. Here we go. Martin hasn't told me yet where he lives. I'm trying to crash Martin's pad because he's got a lot of games I want to play. But Martin does have the Russia Besieged handbook. So I want to know, is there anybody online tonight that has Russia Besieged but not the handbook? I want to know if you don't have the player's book, because Martin has taken care of his business. He has seen it through, but I don't know about you other guys. We gotta find out. So thanks, Martin, for that. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of great comments. I'm just going through here. Boy, yeah, great comments, guys. So in the interest of time, what time do we have right now? Oh, gosh. Okay, so I need to keep going here, obviously. We're running overtime. So thank you so much for the comments. So what I want to do is I want to segue into something here briefly as well. And that is there is a final call of sorts. Alert, Alert Rogers, right? So there is an alert here for all of you that, and I'm not saying this is an alert like there's 15, 20 copies left. Act now or you'll never, it's not this fit of hysteria. There's enough hysteria going around in the world today. We don't need to add to the hysteria tonight. But there is a final call that Bill Thomas shared with you. I did leave one title out. So Mo, you're not going to type and say Saipan's not on the list because I did that intentionally, Mo, just to get you on that. So Saipan's already sold out, so that's why it's not on this list. But just to let you know, guys, what's on this list are games that you could order today through the... and again, I'm being serious here. This is not a hard sell. I never do hard sells. I've never done a hard sell in my life. corporate world or anything. It just there's too much in life going on to do that, except for the Russia Besieged Player's Handbook, of course. There's always an exception, right? But these are games that are getting close to being out of print, so I don't have like numbers like 10, 20. This is just a general statement from Bill Thomas that he shared at the town hall last week, that what you see here are games that are still available at the 35% off pricing. I cannot let it go. I cannot withhold myself here. Red Star White Eagle is one of my top 10 favorite games, and I tried for years and years to find Dave Williams, the original designer. He also did Battle for Moscow from SPI, for those that know the SPI lineage, and he was also designer of that, did some other things around Anzio, etc. But Dave Williams finally found the bastard, right? And that was really a great project. So Red Star White Eagle has some very cool, has the coolest mechanics in it. First, it's it's 1920, Russia-Polish War. There's one or two other great games on the topic for sure as well. But this one had some really cool mechanics. I can still picture the rule booklet in my head because I did layout. But it's got these retreat rules where, like, for zones of control, you pay extra movement point costs. And it's like a rating. And it's like, oh, get out of town. It was like it is such a cool rule to have in a game that I haven't really seen repeated that much. But if I could put in a innocent, non-objective or /subjective recommendation, please check out Red Star White Eagle. We did fix a huge order of appearance card. Was a complete misprint in the original GDW. It was unusable, couldn't be used. We fixed that, of course. We upgraded all the charts and displays, new map, thicker counters. So it is 2 maps instead of 1. 5/8 inch counters. I love that game. What can I say? I did this game early on. It was so much fun doing that game. So, but there's a lot of stuff on here. So if you look here, Line of Judah was another one. Of course, Guam returned to glory. There's a lot of stuff in here that you might want to grab at the discounts, right? So again, final call doesn't mean it's a final call that they're going to go out of print tomorrow. What this means is final call means, according to Bill, it's like 99% sure he's not going to reprint these games. He was challenged on that by you all last week, saying, why would you say you're never going to reprint a game? And it's really, with the pipeline we have, it's really working on new projects, etc. Yeah, maybe there's a print and play one day or what have you. I have no idea. But these games have been out for several years now. So Red Star White Eagle dates back to my first year at Compass. Maybe that one's 3 years only. But these games have been out for quite some time. So, it goes. So Bill's thinking, why would I really do a whole new print run for something that didn't race off the shelves, that really had a full life of several years? And some, he said, were 5 to 7 years. So that's what's going on here. So, and I'll repost the Discord link for you, Dakota, in a moment. That's absolutely not a problem if you hang on. So I'll be happy to do that. So again, this is just a last call, if I could say that, for all of you, that these games aren't going out of print tomorrow, is my understanding, but these will not get reprinted. Bill does not plan to reprint any of these games. So a little tear welling in my eyes about Red Star White Eagle, if I may. But yeah, that's sort of the scoop on that. So what I'd like to do now is we're going to switch gears here for a moment, because I wanted to jump into a game sneak peek, if that's okay. And I just want to make sure I'm set up okay for it here. So I just took my screen share away for obvious reasons, just so I can share with you what I want to share with you next. So I promise to come back to the screen here. So let's do that. So I want to give you an update on a project I've been working on for a little bit of time here. I did finish up the Russian campaign 1974, original 1974 edition. We've talked about that already. It's been at the printers now. It's going to be released, I think, Q2. I've talked quite a bit about that. And of course, I've got my other Russian campaign through Consum Press. Finally, that will be released next year as well, which is like a uber advanced, sort of like Advanced Squad Leader version of Russian, has everything in it. So let's talk about another John Edwards classic game. I want to give you a sneak peek tonight. I don't want to bore you with stats and all this stuff. I want to talk about what's coming next year. So this is an updated box cover. We have a different box cover. If you go to our Victory at Sea pre-order page right now, you'll see a different box cover. This is as of 2 or 3 days ago. So we've swapped out the box cover. This is Victory John Edwards' original 1992 edition release of Victory at Sea, which basically means we're not changing the game rules or anything like that other than obvious errata, but we're going to enhance all the components the best we can and stay true to the original design. And that's what John Edwards wanted us to do. He wanted us to stay true to the original design, Victory at Sea. So I want to show you a little bit about Victory at Sea, if I may. Let me catch up on comments here just so I can see where we're at. So let's take a quick look here. So here's the original counters. So these is a photo that I stole online. I have the game myself here off to the side, but I really don't have the room to show it right now. So this is just to give you an idea, fairly large square counters for the game. This is probably what you might expect for the color, etc., from that time period for a game. And then also I want to show you I'd like to show you the game map, the original game map as well. So here's the original game map. I'll go full in on this. So this is the original game map. It's an interesting odd size. You'll see a fold line. It folds in half, right down that horizontal, vertical. And that was actually the size of the box. It's in a big flat box. And I should have brought the box with me. I should have showed it to you, but I forgot to bring it. But it's got a big flat box, so when you fold the map over, just that one fold, it goes right straight into the box. And it's not 22 by 34. It's a really odd size, to be honest with you. I can't recall the size. It's like, I want to say 18 by 28. And it's just it's an off size. It's not a full size map. It's actually less than a full size map, using those large counters, etc. But what we decided to do was we didn't want to blow up. There's no reason to blow up a map like this, guys. You can look at the size of the areas already, and we've already got large counters in the original game. So we didn't need to do anything to enlarge the map like we did with Red Star White Eagle or Decision at Kasserine or those other designer edition games. So for this original edition, we kept the exact same footprint. Maybe we added an inch only. So our version is going to be the same, pretty much the same size, but it's going to have additional folds. It's going to have additional folds on the map because it's going to go into a bookcase box, obviously. So the fold lines will be different, but it's going to be the same size map. It's going to be smaller than a full-size map, basically. So what I'd like to do now is show you. So just give me a moment here as I navigate so I can show you what we're going to sneak peek tonight. So let me pull that up here quickly. And let's see here where I have it. All right. We're going to go to our trusted Acrobat. We're going to go to PDFsville. So this is our new map. I hope you can see that okay. I don't know if I can go full screen here because I might lose the other tab. So maybe this is large enough for you guys. So remember, if you can, the original map is right. See if I can go back to the original map at all. Just to do a side-by-side. So the original map is right here. So it's got those dark colors. We're not using a swastika, by the way. So that's sort of a no-no. Yeah, we're not doing anything like that. So we've cleaned that up. But here again is the original map. And here is the new map. So I hope you like what you see. Again, it's going to be less than a full-size map. Okay. So again, just the areas. It's like War at Sea. If you think about War at Sea, we're basically following that same footprint. We've added a few little extra details to the map as well, but it's a very simple game. It's like War at Sea or Dice at Sea, if you're familiar with that system, right? It comes from War at Sea. So Victory at Sea, its lineage is War at Sea. So it's like Victory in the Pacific. It's throwing the dice, having all that fun. Some other things I can share with you is here's now what the counters are going to look like. So before you saw those one color counters, like it was blue background with the black print and the black silhouette. And here you can see, if I zoom in here a little bit for you, you can see a little more. Can you see the detail now with the flags? Using sort of a naval insignia for the Germans here, just to do that proper there. And you can see, they're going to be 1 inch counters. So these are very large counters. They're 1 inch in size. So uber big counters, but it works perfectly. The map's a little larger than a half-size map, but you saw how big those areas are. So this is going to work very much in tandem to the original game. Large counters, with the map. So this is going to work same footprint, just upgraded components. So you can see all that information there. We also added a backside. The other game had some additional markers or things. It didn't have any backside to the markers at all. In this case, there is a purpose to have backsides to the markers. So we introduce the backsides to the markers that do serve a purpose for the game. So you will have that. Here's sheet number 2, which will only be a half sheet. So got some control markers. In the original game, they had these little cutout cards. It was not like cardstock cards. It was almost like paper, not heavy cardstock, but they were cards you have to use scissors on to do control. So we didn't have to do that. We just did them as large 1-inch counters. So we added control markers to them. These won't be rounded counters though. However, these are full 1-inch square. These are the same. It's the same counter sheet as Attrition of Souls. So we're using that same counter sheet, 1 inch thick, just to let you know. So that's what they are. But there's also markers in the game. So these are 9/16 inch in size to track. What are we tracking? Well, it's a victory with dice, right? it's all those damage results happening on your map. So obviously that's a huge part of John Edwards' War at Sea, Victory in the Pacific, Victory at Sea line of games. It's all about tracking damage, guys. So we're doing 9/16 inch counters. We think that's a good size to complement the place on top of the 1-inch counters. So that's gonna, I think, fit nicely here. So 9/16 inch. Here's the back side of the markers. Yeah, we got some sunk markers, unfortunately, sadly to say. If that happens, yes, you'll sink, right? Get some sunk markers there as well. And then just to round it out a little bit, is want to share the charts with you a little bit. So we've definitely upgraded. There really were no charts in the original game. So this was an easy victory to do a little bit a better job bringing it into 21st century here. So very easy player's aid card with reminders of everything going on. We've got the optional rules, how to read the units. Sorry, skip there, but yeah, pretty straightforward. Then we got I should go smaller here. Here's the full sequence of play card on the back side. So you have also your sequence of play that you can reference. So again, just handy to have. And then we added something new, which you don't honestly really need in the game, but we wanted to do it to be nice. We did an initial setup display. Not very complicated, right? So pretty straightforward. On the game map itself, the turn record track will bring in the other units. And by name, there's a track listing them all. But yeah, we want to do something nice for you that wasn't done before to give you a nice initial setup display. So again, just hope it's something you'd like to see. Again, this is a simple game, guys. Like if you think about War at Sea, Victory in the Pacific, yeah, this is on the lower end. It's an introductory level game, but hopefully challenging enough for the veteran player, as they say, right? That's always the saying. But I hope you like the work that's being done here. We've been working with Bruce Urian, Bob Cloyd, basically honoring the original edition game. Keep the game map small in size. It's not going to take up a lot of table space for you. It's less than a full map. It will be a mounted game map, which is great. The units will fit great on the map because they're a full inch, and then we can add those markers on top of them. So I hope that gives you an idea of what's going to be happening on your tabletop. So and we've got helpful reminders on the player aid card, and on the turn record track has some helpful reminders because there are some special rules that do happen that you do need to keep track of. You won't be able to commit to memory after reading the rules once or twice. We don't want you to forget. Even though it's a simple game, there are a few wrinkles to it that you have to remember, the special rules for sure. So we've got all that covered for you in the turn record track, etc. So anyway, I hope you like what you saw there. So what I'd like to do now is let's switch gears and let's talk a little bit about 2021. So let's talk about what's going to be happening next with Compass. So let's go to that right now. So again, I'm going to be sharing my screen. So let's bring it up. So as you can see here, let's see how we've broken out our release schedule, at least for the first 3 months. This is also posted on our schedule. So the first release for January will be Devil Boats, which did extremely well, especially the Kickstarter just sort of did gangbusters for us, was caught us off guard, did great. So Joe Carter's game did wonderful. And we're excited to be releasing that right after the new year. Then we have Coalition, strategic Napoleonic game, could play the entire war in one sitting, one night sitting perhaps. So we've got that. Then we've got Paper Wars, Rally Round the Flag, Civil War. That's, I think, Ty Bama's premiere issue as well. So looking forward to that. So that rounds out January of 2021. So there's January for 2021. Then for February, we have obviously, again, the order might shift slightly. I'm not sure. But again, for February, right now, the lineup is first out of the gate with Indian Ocean region. Some of you have asked me about, well, what about South China Sea? Because there's Lineage with South China Sea, same system. Indian Ocean region uses that game system, and we are in the process of reprinting South China Sea, but we don't have a release date. We don't have a release date yet for South China Sea. Obviously, the sooner we can get it, the better, because it would be closer to when Indian Ocean region ships, and as people like that game, they might not have South China Sea. So it would be a great way to promote and motivate folks to pick up, at least pre-order the reprint, but it's going to be coming relatively quickly, I believe, in 2021. We just don't have a date yet for Indian Ocean region. Then we have Cradle of Civilization, so we're going to Ancients. Then we round out the Magnus Opus World War II treatment. We started with the War Europe, and then we did the expansion kit for the War Europe, and now we've got the War the Pacific, which can be combined with the War Europe. So now we're going real big. So we're going from Victory at Sea from John Edwards to the War the Pacific, and all your manhood will be corrected, because it's a very manly game, very complex, manly game for sure, the War of the Pacific. A great monster game from Ernie Copley. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we've got Andrew, who's joining us from Australia today. Good day, good morning to you, Andrew. Andrew's designed Napoleon's Imperium, and he's shown you the history of that design. Goes back over 20 years, and he's got his custom-built table with custom-built miniatures. Spent many thousands of dollars to create this custom. Think of it as the fanciest chess set in the world, except for it's for a Napoleonic game, and that's what Andrew did. Andrew Rowland did with Napoleon's Imperium, and we're doing the board game version. We're not charging you $15,000. We're not charging you $20,000. No, we're charging you much less, because it's going to be a board game. So just want to make that clear. So we're coming out of the gate pretty hot for 2021. So we've got 3 in January, and we expect to have 4 in February. And then to round out the schedule for March, we have 5 releases. So we're going 3, 4, and then 5 releases in March. Starting with the Korean War, that's Joe Bukowski's Victory Games Edition. I've been actually working, just especially the past week or two, just doing final wrap up of the rules. The last second, we decided to split up the rules from the playbook, made some little modifications there, doing some extra things with the player aid card. So basically, we're adding bonuses to the game because the counter sheet issue bought us some additional time. So right now, we're finalizing things, and we've added some nice things. So really excited about the Korean War. I've got a really good summary of what has changed or been enhanced from the original games. So Joe Bukowski has not been shy about what needed to be changed. We had some very good project team members who have played the game for many years talk about a few things that they thought could be improved in the Korean War. So we've done that. So we're really excited. Also, to let you know, for Korean War, it's a monster game in size with the map size and the large counters. So the full campaign, it's 4 maps, but there's a huge overlap of some of the maps. So it's not like 4 maps edge to edge. There is a significant overlap. But for all the introductory scenarios, it's basically 2 maps, and maybe a part of a third map that can be folded down to like 1/8. Like a last, whatever that last fold line is for that third map. You just need that last fold line because there's just a few hex rows you need to add to those 2 maps, whether it's from the south, whether it's the many scenarios that use the south two maps or whether it's the one scenario that uses the two northern maps. There's just a snippet you have to have. So all the scenarios, pretty much, the smaller scenarios are half size from the campaign. And then, of course, the campaign is the four maps with that big overlap to it. But it's a beautiful sight to behold, though, set up. It's like one of those deluxe, it's like those true deluxe edition games when it's set up. We then have NATO, The Cold War Goes Hot by Bruce Maxwell. We've done some interviews on that, so you're probably very familiar with that game. We went to print several weeks ago. I think I announced that 2 or 3 weeks ago. Everything went to the printer, so that game's going to be coming in March. Amazing. This is not the original NATO. I mean, there's so many changes here, starting with the order of battle, the humongous amount of play testing that happened. We had like 20, 30 play testers at one point. Huge following Bruce Maxwell had, just amazing play testers. So I cannot go through the list. Maybe we'll have Bruce on when the game's released. He can go through everything, but just amazing. Then we have the Lamps Are Going Out. Second edition is going to be coming out in March. So I know a lot of people have been waiting for that. And then we also have the Battle for Germany, which is Doomsday Project 1 from Adam Starkweather. And then one of my personal favorites is Michael Rush's Galicia 1914. So he published this under his own label as a desktop published game, Galicia 1914, Oregon Simulations, I believe, Consims. And now we're going to have it in Paper Wars. It's going to be a beautiful game to round out the first quarter as Paper Wars with Galicia 1914. So I hope with that you really like the titles we've shown. I'll check just to see some last minute comments. I know we've really gone over tonight. So I hope that provides you a good schedule. So it looks like you're happy to see Devil Boats is going to be coming first. Absolutely. Thanks, John. Glad you found some games you're interested in. Like I said, Devil Boats has been getting a lot of attention. It's done really well. Rally Around the Flag is going to be that Paper Wars edition. So that's going to be great. Again, more for boats. Mo's right. Yeah, the War Pacific is an absolute beast, but it's a playable, friendly beast nonetheless. So that's for sure. Glad you've got a game there that you like the box cover too. That's awesome. I don't think it's $14,000 for Andrew's Napoleonic custom table. You're gonna have to look at that. He probably built it for 20 or 30, and then if he was going to sell it as a collector's item, it's probably worth more than that. So Korean NATO, Third World War is wrapping up. We're going to start the layout for the standard rules booklet next week, I believe. Or if for any reason Ken Dingley needs a little more time finishing up another project, it could extend into a second week. But next up actually is we're actually finishing up Third World War, doing the layout of the standard rules. And when the standard rules layout's done, we're going to be doing the playbook, which is obviously covers all 4 games, all scenarios, the combined campaign, everything. So we're wrapping up Third World War series, but it's not going to be in Q1 for 2021. We're going to try to make end of Q2 of 2021 would be awesome. That's what we're shooting for, but we're hitting the home stretch for Third World War series. Absolutely. NATO's coming. It's going to be amazing. We'll have to have Adam on, Starkweather, the designer, to tell us more about Doomsday Project for sure. I know people have been waiting for Lamps, Steve, so we're happy to have it. Check out Galicia. You can see it online on Console World Forum or obviously Board Game Geek. You can get more information about the game. So we're very happy it's graduating from print and play to professionally produced, published game with maps and mounted counters. It's going to be very nice. So that's going to be great. Korean War is going to be awesome. So Sal, it's what Bukowski's done with the game and really the experienced gamers that were involved in the project. That's really a key differential. Same with Third World War series and NATO. When you have people that know a game inside out, they've lived the game, and they end up helping you with a project, you get some pretty amazing results. So thanks for the thumbs up, Steve, on the Paper Wars cover. So thanks for that. Dennis, I know you've had to leave, so thanks so much. Just want to recognize you for the if you replay the video, I want to thank you, Dennis, for being there. So let's see here. NATO or Battle for Germany or Third World War? My first big war game decision for 2021. There you go. Absolutely. That's the same for World War I strategic, Michael. We do throw those dilemmas at people. So that's for sure. And let's see. I'm not sure, Ardwolf, which game, the designer of which game. I'll have to see. I'll have to check which game because I didn't catch it midstream. Sorry about that. There's a lot of comments in here, but let me know what game you were talking about, or maybe somebody's answering your question online already. So Devil Boats. I see Devil Boats. Definitely happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating with your family and friends this year. Absolutely right. Let's see here. Just going through final comments here. Let's see here. Sorry if I missed any realistic release for these games. Combat 2 is around summer time frame, so probably early Q3. Enemy Action Kharkov. I'm working on that right now. I should say I'm facilitating that one right now with John Butterfield. We've got all those proofreaders right now. So I'm going to say second half of 2021 for Enemy Action Kharkov. That's what I'm going to say there. Contact Now Tactical Game Series. That one's going to be coming. So we should expect the first release of that game in 2021, actually. At least one of the games, if not two games. I believe the first one's NATO. That's the one everybody's been waiting for, is the NATO one. So that'll be first. And then Ardwolf got your answer, Michael Resch. Yeah, same one who did the Twilight games, 1914 Twilight. That's his game. So I think we got some answers. Joe Carter's a designer of Devil Boats. And also we're looking to do another game with him as well, which I can't mention yet, unfortunately. So great comments from everybody. I really appreciate it very much. So I'm sorry I ran so far over. I hope this was a good overview of what transpired in 2020 for Compass and what we have coming first quarter of 2021. I hope you liked the sneak peek of what's happening as well. We're looking forward to 2021 because we hope to have, obviously, Compass Games Expo in November. Over Veterans Day weekend, we'll be actively promoting after the new year. Compass Games Expo 2021 will be back for face-to-face gaming in November. We look forward to that as well as all our other activities. I promised that I would post the link for Discord channel. We're going to move over to our after party to Discord. Let me pull that up here quickly for you. So I promised I would post that again for you all. So here is the link. And you go to Applebee's Lounge. You just need to go to Applebee's Lounge. When you get on Discord, scroll down near the bottom. There's a bunch of voice video channels. And the first one's Applebee's Lounge. We'll be meeting in there just for a few minutes. I do want to leave you with one last message, or two last messages. First, I want to wish you all happy, safe holidays. I hope you're all going to get some vacation time in soon because you've all surely deserve it. Hope you have fun, a great time, memorable time with family and friends. I hope you can get together as a family this year. Also, would like to mention that we might be doing a special show on Christmas Day evening. So we figure most people will be sort of mentally fried after all the gift giving for those celebrating Christmas. Usually it's done by Christmas, late morning, early afternoon. So nothing official yet. Don't be surprised if we announce on Friday, December 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Bill Thomas might be on to share something special with you guys. So I'll leave it at that for now. But in the meantime, I want to thank you so much for all the direction, all the tough love you've given us, for feedback, critical feedback, things to help us be better. Keep the comments coming. You've given us game proposals, all kinds of ideas. You've supported our games. You've promoted our games. So we can't thank you enough for what you did for Compass. Bill mentioned 2020 was a phenomenal year for Compass, a year of growth despite the craziness happening around us. So we're so thankful to all of you for all you've done for us. Really, we couldn't do it without you, obviously. Just there's no question about that. But we want you to stay healthy and safe. We want you to enjoy our games and enjoy games from other publishers. Last thing I want to say about Discord channel, since it's fairly new, we have upgraded Discord a very high level for 1080 HD quality video and great sound quality. So it's better than any other board game company's site on Discord I'm aware of. So you're welcome to join Discord. And what people do is they play games using the video or the voice channels. And you're welcome to play any game from any publisher on our Compass Games Discord site. You'll really appreciate and enjoy the quality of the HD video, which you won't get from any other Discord sites right now that I'm aware of, or the enhanced voice sound quality. So definitely, if you're looking to do Vassal games, Tabletop Simulator, any games online, please take advantage of our voice or our video that we have on our Discord channel. That's really how Discord got known, was through online gaming and having those voice video qualities, capabilities. So with that, please join us, if you will, over on our Discord for After Hours. I will see you there. Thank you so much for a very special and memorable 2020. I hope it was a good year for you. I know some of you have had some very tough challenges, or your family members. I'm very sorry for that. Hopefully it's something we can learn so we can appreciate our other things in life even more moving forward. So thank you so much, everybody. Want to wish you all a very good night. And perhaps I will not only see you on the after party right now on Discord channel, but perhaps I might see you next Friday on Christmas Day in the evening. Let's see what happens. Good night, everybody.